The empty chairs behind me are not, contrary to popular rumor, the stage set for an afternoon performance of Waiting for Godot. We will have actual people in those chairs really soon now. But again, as always, we like to begin these sessions with a demonstration of the little fluke behaviors of iOS 7 and the voices of customers. I'm going to be joined now by Mike Smith, VP of IT for Business Partner Management at Dell, and Paul Clemens, Principal and Global Salesforce.com Alliance Leader at Deloitte. Mike, I've got to tell you, I've been a Dell customer forever. When my kids want a new computer, the only question is, do they want an XPS or an Alienware? And I've heard over the years, some people assert that the business you're in is actually innovation-proof. That the Wintel duopoly, pretty much, as Paul Leglease at Intel once actually said to me, let's engineers pick the color of the box. Well, I see that Dell's got some new stuff out there. You've got a new machine, a developer edition, a Linux OS laptop with Haswell processors. And the last time I talked to you, I believe you were in Brazil at the time. So we're talking about a global innovation-oriented brand. And I think that Dell has just an amazing amount of runway ahead of it. What's going on at Dell these days?
Great. Well, thanks, Peter. Yeah, I mean, I guess what all of you know at this stage is that we're now the largest startup in history, which is fantastic. It's a great time to be in Dell. I'm with the company for 23 years. I've seen and heard everything you've said before, and I still get such a buzz out of working for this company. So what's ahead for the next year, the next months, and the next year? Well, we're going to really start to accelerate the strategy, which we started some time ago, to transform Dell from being a box supplier, as you've said, to being truly a global services, end-to-end services company. And what you're going to see over the next year is continued but accelerated investment in all our product lines, in our servers, in our storage, our software, our client products, networking, and of course services which wrap around all of that and provide a true end-to-end for our customers. So acceleration is the word of the day. We've gone private. It's going to allow us to do that, and we're really excited about that.
Well, that's the whole idea. You know, I was at eWeek for some years, and one of the things that our customers, readers, said to us is that one of the things they valued from you is that even if the machine did the same thing everyone else's did, you made the business buyer's purchase experience uniquely convenient. You minimized the complexity at their end of getting the stuff off the truck and onto people's desks. So I feel as if this culture of adding value through services to what would otherwise be suspiciously commodifiable products is really very much in the company's DNA.
Yes, it is. It is. We've wanted to be here for a long, long time. It's not easy. There's other people out there that want to do it as well, of course. But we've made great inroads. I think, having gone private, it's going to allow us to do that. But also, we now are answerable to, much, much fewer stakeholders. And our big stakeholder today is our customer. And
we deal with a lot of partners who work with boutique startups working on a shoestring, but as the world's largest startup, I think maybe you're working with someone a little heftier, like say maybe a Deloitte. What's the role of a Deloitte in helping the world's largest startup reinvent itself?
So I guess there's two things, and really, Deloitte are a great partner of Dell's. Salesforce are a great partner of Dell's. We've had a number and many great partners down through the years, but two things would spring to mind when I think about the relationship with any great partner. Number one, innovation. We want to work with partners who help us to innovate. Number two, we want partners, and this is particularly what Deloitte brings to us, who know the industry. They know our customers. They can go out there, they can bring back to us benchmarking from across the industry. They can bring best-of-breed practices to help us develop strategies that make us great. And that's why we partner with Deloitte, and it's been a very successful venture so far.
Paul, the last time that I spoke with Michael, as I mentioned, he was in Brazil, and in fact, the last time that I interacted with Deloitte was in Sao Paulo, and I've also worked with your people in Mumbai. I mean, Deloitte is a global force for the adoption of innovative methods, and Mike has just mentioned that innovation and acceleration are the words of the day. Tell me about your vision for what Deloitte can bring to Dell in this fantastically opportune time.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, it's great to be here. You mentioned Deloitte, so 200,000 people globally. We're virtually every corner of the earth helping the most important companies deal with their most challenging problems, right? And so that's why we're thrilled to be with Dell. So we've been working with Dell for many years, so we're a customer, We're a consultant, and we're a go-to-market partner, and those are the best relationships that we have with the most important companies. So we've been helping them in basically from the boardroom to the server room with all sorts of interesting things, and we're really thrilled to be a part of this transformation that they're going through. It's really exciting for our consultants. It's a great place to be, be a global client, and there's lots of really innovative, interesting things happening. You think about Dell, they are very, very innovative company. So
fantastic, a wonderful time to be working with the world's largest startup, a wonderful time for you to be free to do what you've always wanted to do with the new environment at Dell. Paul Clemens, Mike Smith, thank you so much for being with us at Dreamforce. I'm joined next by Daniel Van An, VP and Area Sales Manager at James Hardie, and Nick Yaramovich with NTT Centerstance. Daniel, tell people about what James Hardie does.
Yeah, James Hardie is a publicly traded company in the building products industry. We make a lot of different fiber cement products, but the main one you'd probably know is siding for your house. Looks like wood, but it's made of cement. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a business that touches everybody. It's a business where the product might seem fungible, substitutable, and I imagine creating differentiation for the James Hardie brand is a very high priority for you.
Yeah, it really is, and that falls on the backs of our sales reps to keep the product from becoming a commodity and really share with our different customers what makes it unique and differentiated and why we can command a price premium in the market.
Tell me about the role of a partner like NTT Centerstance in creating the energy and the commitment to making that kind of difference in the marketplace.
Yeah, well, I come from the sales management side, so I knew very little about the IT side of this. So they have been a huge help in just coaching me up along the way and helping me understand what's capable and kind of taking me through a crawl, walk, run phase so that I could match that with what our company needs to deliver. So that would be part of it. And then just the structure they use where I get sales reps and sales managers involved early in the process, and then I use those guys to test later in the process. That's worked really well because there's a huge buy-in when we go to launch it.
So the word I'm hearing is a lot of process and really making it something you can do again and again and again. Nick, if I remember correctly, at last year's Dreamforce, we were celebrating an acquisition when you became NTT Centerstance, and I imagine that it's been a year of figuring out what to do with this fantastic pool of resources and support that's now part of the Centerstance proposition to its customers.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride. We've been a partner since 2001, and recently, yes, we became part of the NTT family. The interesting part is that Centerstance and NTT is a partner. We're a platinum partner. We're also a vendor. We provide hosting of 2 data centers of Salesforce in Japan and coming up in EMEA. And the third is we're a customer. We have 37,000 licenses of Salesforce. So. And we have a lot of very good customers, and one of them is James Hardie, and we're very, very happy to be here today.
Now, in an earlier conversation that I had with Daniel, he said something very interesting. He said, what NTT Centerstance does for me is they bring high-speed people. They bring people who sit down in a meeting. We don't leave the table without action items on both sides. Daniel, can you tell me a little bit more about that dynamic environment you're trying to create where you don't do what Vivek Kundra once described as producing binders and binders, but no actual value for the business? I'm hearing a real focus on saying, what are we going to do differently after this meeting that we wouldn't have done before this meeting?
Absolutely. Up front, I definitely took the NTT Centerstance team through our terminology, our business, and I was thoroughly impressed with how quickly they picked up on it, and they just started using our terminology, challenging some of the things we do, and asking why, and that was actually really good for us because we needed that. And so we've definitely worked together on that, and now they use the same terminology that we use inside our business. You'd swear they were employees when they talk to us on the phone and on our different conference calls. And then when we go away, our meetings are so productive because we don't have to explain things anymore. They get our business. And that's what I mean by high speed. We crank at a pretty high rate, and we need partners who crank it at a high rate, and I've been thoroughly impressed.
that's music to our ears. This is something we try to get our own people to do, to say to, you're not in there to sell technology, because of course we don't deliver technology. You're in there to leave them thinking, wait a minute, these guys act like they are part of us, and all of a sudden all the technology vendors feel like they're on the other side of the table. Nick, tell me about how you create that culture in which your people can be doing financial services conversations one day and building materials conversations another. Do you, give your people plug and play heads, or what?
Very good. Yeah. So we take three things that we do and we bring to every single customer and engagement. Number one is structured methodology. So we have a structured approach in how we process through the requirements all the way through design development and then the build. The second thing is process first. We're very focused on the business process first and understanding the business, the problem we're solving. And then third is best practices. We're bringing 12 years of experience and history in implementing over 2,000 implementations, and we bring the best practices in to solve the business problem.
Well, it used to be that the business of being a partner was going in and helping people open the boxes, plug them in, get it all working. But here we are talking about process, talking about speaking the customer's language, and really being a partner in that transformation. So Daniel Van Ant, Nick Yaramovich, great to have you here with Dreamforce, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I'm joined now by someone who brings a unique perspective to a challenging environment. Brian Peddle is the CTO at College for America at Southern New Hampshire University. And Brian, I don't remember ever before having an educational institution that was on Fast Company's most innovative list. That's a fascinating perspective to bring to the market. And I know you have a strong business background yourself. First of all, tell me what the basic charter of College for America is, and why it creates new demands that are unfamiliar in the higher education market.
So right now in the country, there's a lot of underserved students, and we've got a whole workforce that hasn't been trained appropriately. So you've got people in the workforce 10, 20 years who may not have a degree but need to move ahead. So for us, we're trying to work with other employers to target hourly and frontline employers to help them obtain a degree that at a fraction of the cost of traditional education.
Now, one of the things you're doing is trying to bring shall we say, an accelerated technology cycle into a business of higher education that is not known for that. How is Salesforce.com part of the way you're making this a high-velocity operation?
It's been there since the beginning. So we've gone from the whiteboard last August to the White House when Obama mentioned us in a speech just last August. And we did this in September with Salesforce right out of the gate, using App Exchange partners to quickly bring pieces together like DocuSign, New Voice Media. In a small development team, we've built our own student information system. We built a coaching model. We've built evaluator portals, student portals, and we built our own LMS on the platform within 1 year.
That's extraordinary. Now, you describe yourself in one of the notes that we had earlier as being a B2B, that you're working with particular brands to make sure that you're being guided by their needs. And that sounds like an opportunity for strategic partnership that I think is really fascinating, really, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word paradigm shifting for the educational industry. Can you tell me about these interactions you're having with major companies who are, of course, prospective employers?
It's been fascinating. So we had a pilot over the summer of about 500 students. During that period, we had 10 graduates from companies like Anthem Blue Cross, ConAgra, McDonald's. Of those 10 students that graduated over the summer, 4 have been given promotions in their respective companies. So it's been an amazing transformation to see these students go from not thinking they could get an education to now having an education. We actually had one student who didn't think he could do it. He now wants to come to our traditional SNHU campus and finish and get his bachelor's degree.
That's amazing, and that's just so important when you consider the notion that's been brooded about for years, and I think we now agree is reality, that people are going to be working for a longer period of time, and yet at the same time, technology change is going to be over a cycle that's shorter. And so the number of technology cycles that a person's career will span may now be 3, 4, 5. And I wonder, what can you tell me about the relative costs of the way they're doing things at your parent institution, SNHU, versus what you're doing at College for America? Because I understand you're turning in some amazing numbers on just fundamental metrics like cost per student.
And that's a big thing. So the cost for the program is $2,500 a year for an associate's degree. And to keep costs down, we have to be efficient. SNHU itself has a cost in the 100 for licensing of other technologies, we couldn't hit that point. So Salesforce Foundation has gotten us down to $12 per student per year compared to over 200. So it's been pretty dramatic.
Well, this is remarkable. I mean, we're talking about almost an order of magnitude reduction in one of the basic costs of running the institution. We're talking about almost a tenfold reduction in the cost to the student compared to, say, the traditional private university. We're talking about people who come in with perhaps not a traditional high school preparation, or maybe they've been in the workforce for years but never had the opportunity for college. You must just be feeling like you've found an opportunity really to move the world here.
It's an amazing opportunity. That's why I came to College for America. It's a very goal-oriented group, mission-oriented group of people. And the numbers we're looking for are 200,000 students over the next 3 to 4 years.
That'll be an amazing metric to achieve, and I congratulate you for it. Brian Peddle, CTO for College for America. Thank you, Brian. We're going to take a short break right now. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Salesforce.com is a publicly traded company, and it's conceivable that over the next hour, some statements might be made that would be characterized as forward-looking, but please do business with us based only on what we can do for you with present capabilities, and please feel free to investigate the rest of this important clarification and information on our investor relations website. Before we fill those chairs, we'd like to share with you one more terrific story of customer success. Let's roll that, please.
The third great wave of computing is upon us. An era of hyperconnection. Billions of people and things and devices connecting faster than ever. But behind all the technology, behind every connection, every app, and every device is the single most important element of all. A customer. Billions of them. Each armed with the ability to make choices and decisions at superhuman speed. Welcome to the Internet of Customers. The most powerful wave of the Internet revolution is happening now, today, right at this very moment. Your customers are racing into the future and determining the future of your company. And it all comes down to this. You need to get to the future first, ahead of your customers, and be ready to greet them when they arrive. Introducing Salesforce One, an all-new platform engineered to connect customers to the next generation of apps and devices, so you can sell, service, and market like never before. A customer platform designed entirely to accelerate development and deployment in a mobile-first world, with social collaboration at its core and 100% Salesforce Cloud. So you're not only ready for what's next, you're way out in front, ahead of next. Here you'll find APIs for anything, so you can connect with everything. A world-class mobile app exchange, so you're instantly ready to build and sell next-generation apps for the enterprise app revolution. Plus, a new admin app, so you can quickly change things on the fly. This is where one button instantly connects everything, your customers, your employees, your partners, your products. Everything you've ever created on Salesforce and everything yet to come. It's the Salesforce you know and love, only better. Suddenly, opportunities are everywhere, along with the ability to service customers at the speed of now. Connect one-to-one in entirely new ways and turn consumers into customers. Create anything you can dream up with the fastest path from idea to finished app. No hardware, no software, no speed limit. Get ready to connect to your customers in a whole new way. On a platform where the #1 goal is getting you to the future first. This is the new Salesforce. This is Salesforce One.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marc Benioff.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Is everybody having a good time today? It's an epic day, and I just want to thank all of you for making it that way. It's really been phenomenal. This has exceeded our expectations by every level, and I don't think in our wildest dreams, we could have imagined it would be as magical as it has been today. First, I just want to thank my team for a phenomenal keynote this morning. You guys did an unbelievable job. Thank you so much for making that happen. And I also have to make a special call out to my engineering organization. Salesforce's engineering is doing the best engineering they've ever done, and the customer response to all these new products and all this new technology is phenomenal. So thank you to our engineering organization and the great work that all of you are doing. We have an opportunity to meet so many exciting customers all over the world, and we're going to have a very special interview here in a few moments with, I think, one of the most spectacular new leaders in our industry, and maybe one of the most spectacular leaders ever. But before we do, we want to take a quick look at a few other incredible companies that are here as well. So let's take a quick look at an amazing company. Let's take a look at Leviev.
Everything's intimate. And when we were looking for a system to help us grow our global business, our biggest fear was losing that.
Customer service is not just something they focus on, it's what they do. It's sewn into the fabric of everyone who is a part of this organization.
What was so surprising and enlightening about Salesforce was it didn't take any of that away. It just made what we do better.
Today, 7 years later, our entire business is run on Salesforce. And for us, it's magnificent, magnificent. We spare no effort on creating the most perfect diamond that a human hand could cut.
We have clients that come to us from around the world, and they're all looking for something that's very unique.
In order to interact with an inventory like that, we needed to give them access to that inventory regardless of where they were.
Salesforce allows me to push a button on my iPad, computer, or even on my iPhone, and it'll light up any aspect of the business. If it's photographs, if it's emails, if it's records, on the spot.
Every one of our sales associates has a tablet, and they're able to log into Salesforce and access our products, even when all the products are spread out over boutiques around the world.
We let their employees interact with their inventory in a whole new way.
That gives us a tremendous amount of confidence.
To be honest with you, I never believed this could be possible. I can run my business on my phone.
We're always traveling to our different boutiques, to our different locations.
When we're sleeping in New York, we're working in Dubai or in Singapore or in London.
What Salesforce allows us to do is monitor globally all of our marketing activities. That syncs us up so we're all on the same page.
Salesforce is a tool for us to know where to keep what product. A marquee diamond in Singapore, for example, if no one ever asked to look at it, maybe I shouldn't be keeping marquee diamonds in Singapore.
There's listening, and then there's really, really listening.
The system allows us to keep track of the history of every customer, every conversation we've ever had with them, every phone call, every email.
We learn to know what they like, what they don't like.
So if you came into our point of sale in London and you mentioned that you'll be in New York, when a person walks in, it's like we know him, although I never met him before.
I think what really tipped the scales was when sales were starting to tell them about what their customers were doing.
I get this beautiful alert. Customer just walked into the shop. Thanks to this device and Salesforce, I can act on the spot.
It's all real time. It's all real time. They have the full 360-degree view of not only their clients, but their business as well.
We're much more efficient at what we do now, thanks to Salesforce.
It's funny to think how we used to have stacks and stacks of papers when now it's just simply putting it into the system and it's everywhere.
It's as if it was created, and it was, for my needs.
You can really custom build Salesforce to whatever you want it to be. You can use this as a launch point to build any mobile app.
We have a calendar in Salesforce that tells us every phase of that certain piece of jewelry for the client.
It all starts with the stone and with the sketch. We send that sketch from Salesforce to the client. No details overlooked, and we're able to connect back and forth with them through Salesforce the whole time.
The difference between success and failure in every business is that customer experience.
Salesforce allows us to take it to the next level.
Sales, service, marketing, their inventory management, HR, and accounting. They've been able to run their entire business on Salesforce.
Although we're a small business, we have this power of technology through the Salesforce platform that helps us give that real personal touch to our clients to make sure that we know exactly what they want and how we can deliver them an experience that is one of a kind.
Please welcome the CEO of Leviev, Paul Rapps, right here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Paul, this is, I think, is it your second Dreamforce?
It's my second Dreamforce, but it feels like the first.
Well, I want to thank you, first of all, for coming all the way from New York, for being here, really appreciative. And you're a phenomenal company, a phenomenal organization. Before we get into that, I have to ask you a question. Since the last time that I saw you, Leviev, which is an amazing organization, global retailer of these incredible artistic creations, you had an interesting situation. I think you suffered a diamond heist, and $100 million of jewelry taken from you and your display. I think it was in Cannes, France. And anyway, I just wanted to start with that and just say, welcome to Dreamforce and tell us about the heist.
Thank you. I thought you were going to offer me condolences.
Well, it's an unbelievable story.
Yeah, to be honest with you, you guys helped us, not for the heist, but with the information. Salesforce really saved me.
Take that from you.
I had all the information I needed to deliver to the appropriate people what was lost and what was damaged.
Incredible.
All that thing. We had a heist, Pink Panther.
Tell us from the beginning, what happened?
Well, our product is extraordinary diamonds. So what we do every once in a while, we do an event. And we had a special event in the south of France, in Cannes, to exhibit those extraordinary diamonds. Unfortunately, we were robbed, and they think it's the Pink Panther organization, the infamous one. It was in the same hotel that they did the film To Catch a Thief. No.
Wow.
So I hope they'll catch this one.
Wow, wow. So, now were you there or were you at home? What happened?
Well, actually, I was at home. I received a phone call. early morning, the ones that you don't like to get when it's very early in the morning, 5 in the morning. And I got on a plane that day. I made one stop to my office, to the boutique. In 5 minutes, I had everything I needed in my bag and on my iPad, obviously. And I began the journey. I went to the south of France. When I walked in, I sat down with the police and the investigators and the underwriters and so on and so forth. Their first question was, how long will it take you to provide us the information? And I told them about 10 seconds. I opened my bag and gave them the information and showed them everything also on the platform. And yeah, well, it helped me out of a little tough situation. So
well,
I guess you didn't think that would be a help for Salesforce.
It's the first time that I know of that Salesforce has been involved in helping with that kind of investigation, but that's amazing. And just tell us, how has Salesforce transformed and changed Leviev? We've been working together now for, I think, several years, and you have about, is it about a dozen stores, is it, around the world? How many is it?
Stores and points of sale. Yes, we operate in Europe. We operate here in the United States, is our headquarters, and Singapore. We have 2 points of sale. We have a boutique in 2 places, and we have a few in Dubai. And hopefully we'll continue to expand. The platform changed our lives. It changed the way we do business. From my own perspective, it made my life so much easier. I run my business through my phone. I can be here and still I'm in touch. It helps us. All of our points of sale in the world are connected through the platform. We share our inventories, we share our information, we share our remarks, we share our failures, we share our successes. And for me, on a personal note, the best aspect of it is that our inventory, they're all one of a kind, they're all extraordinary. We cannot have 2 in the same, in different locations because we only have 1. So through the platform, all of our points of sale get to share those pieces and they can show their clients. We have this beautiful piece. It's out of town at the moment, but if they're interested, we'll have it flown in immediately. So.
No, it's a phenomenal story. You're a phenomenal company. I am sorry that you suffered the heist, but wow, what a story. I mean, it's an unbelievable story. So thank you for being here, Paul. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And I'd like to also just ask, thank you, Paul. George Zimmer is here, another phenomenal retailer, someone who's changed all of our lives with the Men's Warehouse. Please give him a hand, George.
Formerly Men's Warehouse, of course, but
now this is also your second Dreamforce that you've been at?
it is, and it's so far better than last year's, in my opinion. Your talk this morning was great.
Well, thank you very much. Let me ask you a question. What do you see changing and happening in retail? You're thinking a lot about that. You're conceptualizing the future of retail. You have this huge impact on men's clothes. Now you're like thinking about the future of that industry, of other industries, political systems. What's been on your mind these days?
Well, believe it or not, since I was a technology Luddite when we met, for me to now say that I am investigating 2 separate, unrelated business opportunities that disrupt their specific industry, I can't wait to share that with you later.
That's very exciting. George, can you give us the line?
You're going to like the way you look, I guarantee it.
Thanks, George. And we have another phenomenal CEO here as well, Walter Robb of Whole Foods. Welcome, Walter. How about a hand for Walter? Raise your hand if you're a Whole Foods customer. All right, how about that?
Mark, can I have some of those shoes?
Yes, you can, if you promise to wear them in your stores.
They're very cool.
Walter, of course, you're a phenomenal retailer. You've changed the food industry and the grocery industry forever. You've changed how we think about sustainability, about GMOs. You've also reconceptualized what does it mean to be a mission-based organization, a purpose-based organization. You come from a very different world than we're in. Can you give us your vision of what's happening in the world and what you've seen from the perspective of Whole Foods?
Sure. Well, let me start with just giving you a shout out about this morning's program. I thought it was terrific. First of all, your whole view of how technology is changing the third world of computing and how you've got to completely rethink how you're serving your customers and involving all your stakeholders, all the parties, whatever the term is you use for that. That's a very compelling vision. All of us here are to serve customers, right? So how are you going to think about serving the next generation of customers and how you're going to put that together? But the best thing I thought about this morning was the way you led with the whole 1-1-1, right? It takes a lot of courage for you to stand up here and start your big convention with your philosophy and your ideals about serving people in that way. And you know, it's not so much what you sell, it's what you stand for, and you led with that this morning, and that's what Whole Foods tries to do as well. So
thank you.
I think, yeah, no, that's good. I think what you stand for is what builds your connection with customers ultimately. It's the authenticity that comes from that place, and that's what we've tried to do with the quality standards that we have in the marketplace. So I think going forward that the thing about technology in retail is it's come to a place where if it was separate before, it's actually intrinsic to developing the retail experience now. The customer, it's actually completely integrated. And if you're not thinking that way, you're probably going to get left behind. So that's how I'm thinking about it.
Well, Whole Foods is an amazing organization, and you know, we do have that in common, I think, between our two groups. We are in two different worlds, but we're united through purpose. We're united through a common mission. And let me ask you, you know, there's a lot of changes going on in your industry, and certainly GMOs is a major part of the food ecosystem today, and it's different in every part of the world. How are you thinking about GMOs, and how are you thinking about the world of food today?
Right. Well, I think the big trend towards fresh, healthy foods, I think people see now there's a connection between how you eat and your health. We know there's a $3 trillion spend in healthcare, 80% of it's lifestyle related, and the big fix there is more personal responsibility around your diet. And so I think we're there trying to help people with healthy choices. And whether they shop with us or shop somewhere else, I think the education and information about that is critical. So I think that's what we're trying to work on. And yeah, go ahead, yeah.
No, please continue.
Well, I forgot what I was going to say, actually.
Oh, all right. Well, when you
I didn't want to have to admit that, but...
Now, is that something that you've kind of added on Whole Foods, or was Whole Foods started with that kind of intention and that kind of purpose?
But you want to talk about GMOs, but I mean, no, the company started in 1980 with the idea of bringing healthier foods to the world. We called it natural and organic foods at that time. It's become, you know, a lot more well-known than it was at that time, but the company's always been about standing for that in the marketplace. We're not trying to be all things to all people, but we're trying to stand for this idea of quality in the marketplace. And I guess the GMO thing is, again, what we're standing for there is transparency. I think that the long arc of history is going to show clearly that companies that have more transparency, accountability, responsibility are ultimately going to be the winners with their customers. And the decision that we made around declaring for, thank you. I think companies are called to find that sort of responsibility, and I think those that do not ultimately will, once again, be left behind. But the decision with respect to GMOs is to label them all by 2018. Here's the thing. Ultimately, give people the information and let them make the choice, right? So transparency, label it, let them make the choice. With your pro, with your con, the science a little inconclusive, but ultimately I think everybody wins if there's more information in a world where that's the way it's going to go. So that's where we try to come out. And I think we're the only grocer so far that has taken that stand, and that's what leadership looks like in my view.
That's great. Walter, let me ask you, how does that actually get put into place when you now, your customer comes into the store, your customer's coming into the website, they're coming to your mobile app. I saw you were here this morning, you're going through the keynote, I could see you were having a million ideas about things that are going on with you and your business and how it relates to this vision of technology.
Right.
How does that come into place now?
Well, kind of like you sent a couple emails out, right? And, you know, but I mean, we have some of our team here that are going through the show. And we're just trying to really, this whole idea that you've about creating a platform that the apps live within, that customers can help manage the whole experience and connect with customers in a sort of a 360 way is very, very exciting. Seems to me right on. So I think we just try to digest everything we're hearing here and sort of figure out how do we, I think the ultimate future of retail The customers, we already have 13 million square feet of retail. We have another 4 million square feet of retail coming. But the interesting thing is the expansion into the digital world and the space between. And I think the customer of the future wants an integrated experience, sometimes social, sometimes web, sometimes mobile, sometimes physical. They want the option to do it as they want to do it. You've got to build a platform and infrastructure like Salesforce that will allow your customers to do that. So I'm here and our team is here trying to understand how do we build that so we can give our customers what they want.
Now, you have all kinds of unusual changes going on in your industry. You see this kind of shopping direct and people who have got trucks going out, and you've even got, grocers who don't even have storefronts that you can, sign up online. What's been your biggest surprise with all the technology innovations that have gone on in your industry? Is there anything that's really like blown your mind or really inspired you, or you said, gee, that's something that we can bring into Whole Foods to create an even better, more transparent, more trustworthy experience with our customers?
Well, I think two things. One is the speed with which it's happening. There's the whole ecosystem of grocery is completely evolving, and we're watching it before our eyes with all sorts of choices for customers that they didn't used to have. And I think the second is the breadth of that ecosystem, which is to say, I think you need to think about it much more broadly with all of your stakeholders, and you need to provide a place for them to be part of the conversation, included, so you're creating the future together. And that's a very exciting idea. It's more complicated, right? You've got to set it up, you've got to set a platform up so all your suppliers, you can be doing this together, be inclusively, and I think the future looks like that, and that's exactly what you were sharing this morning, so it's pretty exciting.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here. We're really delighted, and we are united on mission and purpose, and we're thrilled to have you and to have George and to have Paul and so many other great organizations represented here at Dreamforce.
And may I just say thank you for what you're doing in the world and the gifts that you're giving to the hospitals and the way that you're having your company stand for really being more than profit in the world. Really, really appreciate that. Great example.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Mark.
so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, well, this is a very special time, and one of the things that we really wanted to do this year is be able to take a moment and answer your questions. So if anybody has a question about the keynote today, about Salesforce.com, we thought we would take a couple of minutes and just open it up. We have runners with microphones, and we're happy to take your questions. So that's an unusual and new part of Dreamforce. We want to open it up. So does anybody have any questions before we begin? Put you on the spot. Not a single question in the whole house. Okay, here we have a question right over here. Welcome.
Thank you, Mark.
Please stand up and introduce yourself.
My name is Casey. I'm a blogger.
Welcome.
So, Mark, since you're making a lot of progress, a lot of money, there's a typhoon that hit the Philippines.
Yes.
Would you be donating some money to help?
Yes.
In the tune of how much?
Well, I think it's a good question. What should we say? What are we going to start at here? Is it a negotiation? There's going to be a lot of things that we'll be able to bring bear to the Philippines. Of course, we want to bring money. We want to raise money. We also want to bring all of our technology for free for all the recovery efforts. That's the first thing that we can do. We want to empower all the NGOs that we work with already in that area, which we're doing, and we will make a substantial financial investment as well.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for the question. And I think it's absolutely, totally great. Anything else?
Hey, Mark. AJ Castergott again. On that Leviev jewelry example, how did they know who the customer was that walked in the door? What does the customer have to do in that situation to opt in so that they know who's walking in the door?
How do they know who's walking in the door? Okay, now, that's a great question. Of course, there's a lot of different things that could happen. They could have a mobile app that's inside, the customer's phone. And when that phone, the customer's opted in, that when I walk into the Leviev store, it knows that I'm here. And then there's other things that they can do as well, but let's talk to Paul. So Paul, tell us what happens now. What is the process that goes on when you have a customer walking in the store? How do you know who that customer is, and how does that interact with your system?
Well, Salesforce totally changed the way we do business. And it took me a few years to learn how to use all these technologies and informations. Regarding your specific question, we get alerts. We operate around the clock in different parts of the world. So if you were to walk into our boutique in Singapore and you would share your thoughts with the team over there, they would be sending me an email. That email would say, Marc Benioff walked in with his beautiful wife. They looked at different pieces of jewelry. Marc said...
Don't get me on the hook here, Paul, okay?
Well, he did a good job.
Okay. No, I just gave away a bunch of money over here on the last question, so...
I hope there'll be some...
All right. Yeah.
Then it'll share with us how the couple or the client opined. It's too big, it's too small, it's beautiful, I would like something similar but in a different shape. I will then get an alert. We customized our suit, our platform is customized for our needs, so in my vocabulary I have a potential customer, potential client. And it'll light up, it'll say Marc Benioff walked into the store in Singapore. He's on vacation. He told us that he will be in New York next week, and we told him there's some beautiful things that perhaps they would like. Now I'm ready. I right away will email back, or if I'm up, I will even call and introduce myself and tell Marc that I'll be looking forward to seeing him in New York. And that's only one of the ways that we interact amongst us worldwide. It's very important to give our clients that personal touch. And as we are not a mass business, I mean, we're not Whole Foods, but I do know each and every one of our clients. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting them in person, I've met them through the platform. And it's a very important thing to have that personal touch. And the platform allows us to do that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Paul. Please thank Paul Rapps. Please thank George Zimmer. Please thank Walter Robb. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Welcome to Reforce. Thank you for the good questions. Yes?
Since I have once in my life the opportunity of standing next to you, I would just like to second. I admire what you're doing.
Thank you.
It is the most warming thing that one could see. I've also had the pleasure, the honor of reading your book and your history, and I would like to personally thank you for everything you've been doing and for all the lessons that I have learned from you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Paul. Thank you, everybody.